Hello, and welcome to this new episode of Daughters of Narcissistic Mothers podcast. How to survive the holiday season with a narcissistic mother or family. That's a big topic, and we're gonna go into it straight away. But first, I want to speak of a special offer, the one that I spoke to you last week. I hinted at last week. So this special offer is about the 10 weeks one-on-one program that has been incredible so far. Like the women that have signed up, it's amazing work that we're doing and that they're doing, and I'm absolutely blown away by how they're showing up to it. Powerful, vulnerable, incredible, absolutely incredible. So because of that, I want to open up already the way for January 2024. But I want to give you the chance to reserve your space for it now by securing with a deposit from now, so that when it gets to January, it's going to be probably about the end of January, you have your space secure, because I only open very few spaces for this program. And also I want to add to that I wanted to add a discount to that. It's like 150 euros off the price when you're doing that. So the positives of this offer are you get to secure your space from now, so you're sure that when you get to January you have your space and that's it. It's 150 euros off the price, and you get to pay it in 2 times. So you pay a deposit now and then the rest at the start of the program, which can make it easier. So yeah, that's the offer that I want to put out there, and this is gonna be valid until November 27th. So you have like a week or two to sign up for this. And how do you sign up for this? You email me saying that you're interested in the 10 weeks one-on-one program for January and that you want to hear about the offer, and I'm gonna send you an email with all the details of how to apply for it. Okay, so that's it. And also I have a gift for you that I'm gonna share during this episode, so stay with me. Okay, now we got all the practicalities out of the way. Let's get to the topic. And it is a very big topic, so I'm gonna do my best to try and cover it all in one episode, but I'm not sure I'm gonna be able to, so we'll see. If I need to do more episodes on this, I will. And off the back of that, I want to invite you to share any questions you might have on this topic or your experience and challenges that you're facing about the holiday season via email. You can email me so I can best support you through the podcast. I can speak to whatever it is that is challenging you right now, and if you have questions, I can answer without mentioning your name, of course, but I can answer in the next episode if there is a need. So contact me, and the email address is always in the episode description. So as you notice in the title, I have narcissistic mother/family, and this is because what's explained in this episode can be extended to all family members that at this time of the year weaponize the holidays to get what they want. I personally have plenty of experiences, not only with my mother, but with other family members and with the in-laws as well. So, and I'm already beginning to see it happening, like phone calls that wouldn't happen are happening, flying monkeys are flying high. So, and we're only mid-November, so I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. So to start, I want to say that if you are dreading this time of the year, the holiday season, so no matter the tradition you're coming from or beliefs, whatever, there's a lot going on from now until about February. So if you're dreading this season and all the family gatherings and traditions maybe feel more like obligations to you, know that you're not alone. Definitely not alone. And if you end up comparing yourself to others and it seems like other people have such lovely mothers, such lovely families. Remember one thing about narcissists: they like to put on a good show of perfection. They want to make everyone believe their family is the perfect family, so you can't know from the outside what's their true experience. So if you're comparing yourself to others that seem to have such a great experience in the holiday season, that's what they're putting on the outside. It might be true, but it might not. It might actually just be the usual show that narcissists want to put out. So don't take my words for it, of course, but my experience having open conversations with women all the time is that many find winter holidays uh, more challenging than actually enjoyable. Um, Another thing I want to say is it is okay if you have a desire, like a deep, deep want for things to be different. For your mother to behave differently, for her to be genuinely warm, welcoming, and loving without the usual backlash, for your family to be respectful and loving, maybe for your in-laws to be less critical and judgmental of what you do, that's different from what they would do. So it's okay to have those wishes. I truly get it. I really do. And I mean, I still sometimes well, I wish that things could be different. I can see how things could be if some of my family members behave differently, if my mother acted differently. It could be really nice. But it's also important to be clear within yourself when that is just wishful thinking, really. It is for me, for sure. Because you deep down know that no matter how much effort you put in it every year, your mother or the others will still behave like they usually do. And it's really something you can't control. No matter how perfect a dinner you prepare, no matter how much attention you put in your outfit, maybe, no matter how much time you devote to decorate like you think your mother would like, no matter how many errands you run for her, no matter how much you tell your children to be on their best behavior on the family gatherings, she will find ways to get attention on her, to criticize you, belittle you, to find faults in your efforts, pass hurtful comments with other family members, maybe show up to the family dinners in horrible mood. That can happen too, so that she draws all the attention, and so on. I've seen it all happen in my family, literally all of it, and I know how difficult and hurtful it is to be in the middle of it. But it is really key to accept that we can't control how others choose to behave. That is not in our power ever to change. Yet it's very natural to wish for things to be different. And because of how much it would mean to you if only it were possible, a lot of grief can come up at this time of the year. Grief for how things could be and are not. Grief for all the pain that you've experienced so far at this particular time of the year. So like painful memories and stuff like that. Grief because maybe you are no contact and you feel isolated from the rest of your family of origin. That is something that can cause a lot of grief. Grief from childhood hurtful memories. So like things that go all the way back years and years ago and more. So if any of that is what comes up for you at this time, I get it. Again, you're not alone. It is the time of the year that can bring up a lot of grief. And that's just something to be aware of. There's nothing wrong with you if that's what happens to you, and you're not alone in that. And you can reach out, of course, all the time. But I know that in this community that we're creating here, in this very, very large, amazing women's circle that we have every Tuesday, and whenever you're tuning in to listen to the episodes, you're held in this and you're not alone. I know the first time we decided as a family to spend Christmas Day away from all family of origin, there was a lot of grief, and also it wasn't well received either. So I can assure you that. So, like, on top of the grief that you're feeling, there's also like all the resistance that comes in and the attacks from the family, which is, it's intense. I get that. So if that's what you're going through, I really get it. Both myself and my husband are no contact with some members of our families, and so this is always a delicate time of the year. But I'm not going to go deep into the whole no contact thing right now. Maybe I'll do an episode specific to this. Let me know if you would like that. Send me an email if you have questions about the holiday season while being no contact, so that I can create an episode on that. So this was a long introduction, but it was necessary because, again, this affects us all in different ways. There's different lands to it. There's different ways this can get to us as a time of the year. So I truly wanted to cover most of it. If I've left something out, again, let me know. I'm open to it. So now I want to go a little into how a narcissistic mother, and again, this applies to all narcissistic family members in a way, but I will stick to referring to mothers for simplicity. You can just take it and apply it to whoever is the person in your family at the minute that is causing the most trouble. So I want to go into how a narcissistic mother will weaponize and use the holiday season to get what she wants. Because this is like, it's a moment where she has a lot to play with. Even if you've managed to have some boundaries for the rest of the year, even if you've managed to keep a low enough contact, even if all of that, when we come to this time, there's a lot she can use to get us back in the loop. So let's go through that. So let's start. She will use the holidays as a series of obligations you have to go with in order to be a good daughter, and making you feel like you have no choice. So that's one way she can go about it. If you want to do something different this year, she will go against it, maybe using statements such as, how dare you doing that? This is not how it's done. Or, don't you get how you make me feel when you say you want to do that? Which goes into the next point. She will use guilt, especially if you're planning not to go to the family gatherings, and she can guilt you into how that makes her feel. Or also she could tell you she has only you in her life and you're leaving her alone, and that makes her feel really bad. So she will make you feel bad for your needs and choices at this time of the year, like she would do all year round. But maybe other times it can be easier to set boundaries. At this time there's a lot that comes into it, and the traditions, obligations, and beliefs can come in really strong. On that note, she can use spiritual abuse. So she will challenge your spiritual beliefs if you don't go with traditions by the book. And whatever your spiritual beliefs are, she can use that against you to get what she wants. Or another way she could use the holidays is, actually, she could be on her best behavior before the holidays, leading you to believe all will be good this time around. She could even go as far as make you outright promises, and you might end up letting your guard down, and then you get hurt again. Because when they're on their best behavior, I have learned personally in my experience, there's an alarm bell that goes on in my head going, whoa, whoa, whoa. And it's not because at this point, I don't know, I don't believe that there's hope, but I kind of know how it works. I've been there before. They're on their best behavior. They're telling you how this year is going to be wonderful and how everyone is going to get on and how they're going to be this and that and the other. And then you turn up to the family gathering and it's like full on slaughter. So no. She can use other family members against you, the famous flying monkeys, guilting you or isolating you from the family unless you do what she wants. If you're not coming to the family gathering, well then kind of I'm going to speak to everyone about how bad you are, triangulate, and then you're not going to have anyone to talk to at all this year. She could create an emergency situation to hijack your plans at the last minute. So kind of go, yes, I'm going with your plans. I understand you want to do it differently this time of the year. That's fair enough. Pretending all is good, and you relax and you think, okay, maybe we did it this year. Maybe we got it the way we want. And then all of a sudden you get a phone call on Christmas Eve or something like that. and and it's an emergency and everything goes belly up. Another way she can get to you is going through your children or husband, the same as she would do with other family members, but telling them it would be so lovely if you'd only could be together this year, making you look like the bad one. Like she's an angel and you're the bad person here that is not allowing the family to be together, is not allowing the grandchildren to be with their grandmother, blah blah blah. But you know what's gonna happen. You know that it's just gonna be toxic, but still that's how she can get to you. So I'm sure I'm leaving something out, but this is kind of like an idea of the many ways that this time of the year can be used by a narcissistic mother, ultimately to keep the control over your life and make you feel like you're a bad person. And again, you can share your experience with me. Let me know your questions and challenges. When you do that, remember that you're also helping so many others in the same situation that maybe didn't feel like reaching out. So I honor you for that. It's super welcome. At this point, I want to talk about what could be done to turn the entire situation around, or at least make it a little bit easier. So whether you're going to spend a lot of time with your mother and other challenging family members, or you're no contact and you're not even going to send word, and all in between, this time of the year can be challenging, as we said, for all of us. I think we made that clear enough. So I'm going to offer some tips that I found very helpful in my own experience. Not all might apply to your situation. There's a few points. I think there's about 10 points. So take what's helpful and leave the rest. Whether you need to survive a visit with your in-laws or a family gathering with your narcissistic mother, or you're feeling waves of grief, or you are no contact with your narcissistic mother, but there is the rest of the family to deal with, there are a few things you can start implementing, and some even from now, actually. That's why I decided to do this episode like this early, because some things, if you start implementing them from now, then you're gonna hit the ground running when you get to the actual middle of the holiday season. So, okay, let's go in. So number 1, set some simple grounding practice you can easily do. And I say easily because it has to be something you can keep doing, you can keep up even in the middle of visits, obligations, errands, and so on. All the busyness of it, this practice, this whatever it is that you decide that you're gonna do, you gotta keep on doing that. This is your foundation. And I'm not gonna go into specific of what practices, because that can be very personal to you, what it is that you like doing, what it is that brings you back home to yourself. So if you think about it this way, to choose what to do, it has to be something that you can do in just a few minutes, that you don't need a whole 2-hour setup to be able to do that you can do almost anywhere. So if you're in visits at families' houses or things like that, you can still do it. And that actually really supports your system to feel better, to ground, to come home to yourself, to come home to your heart, to go, okay, let's slow down for a second and be with myself, and feel what's present, and just take a sigh. So that's what I'm talking about. Let me know if you would be interested in me sharing a bit more about what my practices are at this time of the year. I can do that in another episode if you're interested. But yeah, if I went into it now, that would make it very, very long. What I want to say that breath, for example, is something that is always with us. So that's a really good place to start with that. So number 2 which is connected, is start practicing daily from now, before the time of dire need. So that's what I was saying at the beginning, like when I started this list. Now is key. There is no, like, think about it this way: there is no point in turning up to a marathon if you've never gone running in your life, or maybe you did it some years ago, right? You need to train. Same here. You need to get your system trained before the time of need. So now is the time to start. If you haven't had that up until now, that's totally fine. If you have, make sure you keep it going and make sure you don't lose it, because something that happens all the time, it's that we get to the busyness of the holiday season and we forget about ourselves. So if you have something that you're doing daily that actually just keeps you really grounded and keeps you really good in yourself, don't let go of it, keep it going. But if you haven't done anything up until now, that's totally fine. Find something that works for you and start now. That is gonna get you at the time of need, where your entire system is gonna be super trained, that the minute you go into that practice, it's gonna go, okay, this is what we're doing now, awesome, we're just gonna rebalance everything. Yeah, that's okay, we know how to do this. Okay. Number 3, carve some time for yourself to just chill. So this is beyond your daily practice. Your daily practice can be even like something like 10 minutes. This other point here, it's if it's a little bit more than 10 minutes, that's better, but keep it realistic. This point is different. It's like carve some time just for you. Just if it's like having a bath, if it's going for a walk, if it's reading a book, if it's going for a nap, whatever it is, it's very important, especially if you have to deal with prolonged visits, both with your narcissistic mother or other family members, whether they're coming to you or you're going to them. This time for you is really important. A time of the day where you go, you know what, guys, I'm just going to go into my bedroom, or I'm just going to go for a walk, and I'm going to do this alone, on my own, just clear the head, clear the space. Nature is great for this. Connect with nature if you can. But anything that is just you, even if you just go to a cafe to have a lovely hot chocolate, whatever it is, but it's just you time that recharges your battery. So make sure you have that. And for these 3 points, this is where I want to give you a gift. I have created a quick guide to create your sacred space. This is a downloadable ebook that you can get today for free, and the link is in the description of the video. And this is my gift to you. So why did I create that? It's really nice to have a sacred space for yourself, somewhere where that a corner of your house, a space in your house where you can make it in a way that is truly conducive to you feeling good, to feeling safe, and to recharge the battery. Whether it's like a super cozy corner with blankets and pillows and candles, you'll see it in the little ebook. There's lots of different ways you can do this. Now, if you are in a situation where you feel that's not possible, in the guide, in the ebook, there's tons of ways that you can do this, like kind of within, or like in a subtle manner. So, don't worry about it. It's all covered. But yeah, it's really cool to have that. And I've got a lot of questions in the past as to how to do this. People sometimes don't know where to start. They feel silly, maybe with the stuff that they want to put in it and things like that. So, or they mightn't. I've got questions also about how do I tell my husband that I want to do this, or other family members, people I live with. Maybe if I'm living with like other people in the same apartment, how do I explain what I want to do and don't feel ridiculous about it? So yeah, that's all in there, and you can download it now in the description of this episode. Okay, so let's keep going. Point number 4. It's similar to number 3, but this time is about carving some time for connection with your close loved ones. So, meaning some time to truly connect with your husband, perhaps your partner, some alone time with your children if you have children. So that's really important as well, because if that's your situation, if this applies to you, if you have a partner, husband, children, they can tend to be left behind when we are trying to please or to do everything to make our narcissistic mother feel comfortable or to follow whatever our family is saying, and we're caught into that circus, which it's totally, that can happen. I mean, we can get caught in it. Even when we're aware, we can still get caught in it to some degree. And so the close family, the people we love so much, tend to be left behind a little bit in this. So it's really important to have some good time with them, to connect, which is healing. It's good for your soul, it's good for your heart. So it's not that you're doing that because you're feeling guilty. I don't want to make you feel guilty. Oh my God, I'm not paying enough attention to my kids because I'm too caught in other things. That's not the point here. The point is that when you do spend time with the people you love, you actually also recharge your own soul, your own heart, as well as theirs. It's like mutual and it's beautiful. So it's something that I want to invite you to consider. And if it doesn't apply to you, maybe you have a favorite family member, like an aunt or an uncle or someone, a cousin, someone that you really truly get on with, that is out of the usual dynamics of the rest of the family. So that's a good person to spend some time with. If you have a friend that feels good to be with, that uplifts you, it's a good choice. If you have a pet, that's also a good choice to spend some good quality time. Good, if you have like your dog and you just go for nice long walks together or whatever, just sit on the couch and cuddle with your cat. That's really recharging. I know from experience. If I haven't had my beautiful animals in many situations in my life, I don't know where I would be. So, and if none of this applies to you, well then, nature is a great friend to spend some quality time with. We're never alone. Nature is always with us and around us. Even if you live in a city, there's nature there too. So that's who you can spend some connection time with. Point number five, sorry. Set if-thens for yourself. An if-then is a really cool way to prepare. So not to use a lot of willpower. Willpower is not something that is infinite. We don't have an infinite amount of it. Actually, we have a certain amount of it daily, and then we get tired, and the more tired we get, the less willpower we have. So like if you first thing in the morning, you're able to like face whatever situation and say no, by the end of the day, you're probably going to say yes to a lot of stuff that you didn't mean to say yes to, but just because you're getting tired. So if you have set previous if-thens, and especially if you communicate them to the likes of your partner or someone that can hold you accountable on those, that makes it even more powerful. So like they can be very simple, but like if my mother calls me for a last minute errand, and I can't do these errands, then I will say I'm not available. Very simple, but you set it first. You can write this down. It's like a set of rules that you put for yourself, but that are there to support you so that you don't have to make those decisions. If you've set this if-then, if my mother calls me for a last minute errand that I can't do, then I will say I'm not available. When that happens, you're not going to be caught in, maybe I could do it, maybe I could find a solution, maybe not, oh my God, I feel guilty, what if I did that? You are not going to have all of that to deal with. It's an if-then. You said that if that happened, you would do this, then you do it. And then you hold yourself accountable to it, or you communicate to someone that you trust, and they will go, you said that if that happened, then you would do that, so now do it. And you know that that's really going to be supportive. Another example, if family members tell me I should contact my mother over the holidays, then I will say I will not discuss my relationship with my mother with you. And you have that set in your head. So anytime someone brings it up, you go, I will not discuss my relationship with my mother with you. End of conversation. And then you move on, change topic, do whatever. If the in-laws are coming for a visit, then I will set such and such conditions. So again, you're already prepared. The bottom line is be prepared. You can use it for yourself too. Like if I feel overwhelmed and stressed or anxious, then I will go for a walk, go to my sacred space, communicate with my partner, ask for support, whatever your choice. But so you have a protocol effectively of what you're gonna do if such and such happens. Then this is how I'm gonna behave in a way that supports you, that helps you. That can be really useful. I've used tons of this. We use them all the time, in our family and with family around us and stuff. It's a simple little thing, but it's very potent. So point number 6, which is the most important practice of all, another really big foundation for you, together with having a daily practice for yourself. This is like a massive foundation as well, and it is to practice being kind with yourself. And I know if you've been listening to me for a while, this is like my number one mantra. I repeat this a lot, because it is foundation. Whatever your specific situation is, this is a challenging time of the year, and triggers will happen. No matter how prepared you are, no matter how aware you are, you will get triggered in some blind spots that you have not considered. This can happen. So be kind with yourself. Be very, very kind with yourself. It's really, really important that. Because it's very easy to beat yourself up. Oh, here I go again. I thought I did this. I listened to the episode. I did everything by the book. And still, look at me. I still get upset over such and such. And that's okay. That does happen. And if it happens, that's where that daily practice is so important. You're holding space for that. You communicate. You reach out if you need support. But not because you've been bad and you haven't done it right, but just because you're human, and that's just what happens. So be very kind to yourself. So number 7, if you are very well practiced in placing everyone's needs before yours, if you're wanting to be super loving with everyone, even those who feel challenging, including your mother, that is a beautiful part of you, and I deeply honor your loving heart. However, make sure you also connect with some healthy anger. And this does not mean that you have to get aggressive with others if they annoy you, or that you have to follow every frustrated impulse. That's not what I'm talking about, healthy anger. But practicing feeling that anger when it comes up. When a boundary is overstepped around you, it's okay. Like if someone comes in and does something that really is not on for you, you can go, oh, but they're like this and they're like that, and be super loving, but inside there's like that anger has been triggered, and if it's not acknowledged, that's gonna fester there, and then it's gonna come out in frustration and aggression out of your control. So like your mother could be pushing a lot of buttons, but you're like, but I'm being loving. Or your in-laws, it's really easy with the in-laws. They're pushing a lot of buttons, but you're trying to be liked, and you're trying to be loving, and you're trying to, make things nice and stuff, and then you snap at your children, or you kick the dog, or whatever. It comes out in a way that is not nice. So when we practice connecting with a healthy anger, so acknowledging within ourselves, okay, this really made me angry, and I can feel it inside. That's the fuel for good boundaries. That's a fuel for a no. You see what you did right now? That made me very angry, so please don't do that again. That's a healthy boundary. And it's a healthy expression of anger. You're expressing how something made you feel, and that's an absolute no for you and should not happen again. That's it. End of conversation. We don't need to make a big drama out of this. That's just how it's gonna go. And when boundaries are expressed from there, it's from a grounded space, and they will be respected. Or that person is just gonna leave. It's just not gonna be on for that, and it's gonna go. But they're not gonna be overstepped. I can tell you that. In the same manner. That's point number 8. Bring awareness to your people-pleasing self. Growing up with a narcissistic mother can leave us wanting to be accepted, validated at whatever cost, because we feel unworthy and inherently faulty. And also can leave us not wanting conflict, wanting to avoid conflict at all costs. And so we people please. And if you have to people please for like 10 minutes in a shop is one thing, but if you have to people please for a week during an entire visit or longer, or this leaves you feeling exhausted and also very anxious, because if it seems that people are displeased with you, then you're going to take it quite personal. That's part of the narratives. If they're displeased about something, it's going to be your fault, even if it isn't. So practice from now on recognizing when you are people pleasing or when you are at a genuine yes from the heart. So if you're in situations right now, just you don't have to change anything about how you're behaving at this moment. This is a time to practice recognizing it. So behave like you would and see, okay, today at that time I did that just because I was trying to please that person. How did that make me feel? And just check in with yourself. Again, without judgment, it's kindness, it's pure curiosity as to when you do it. And that gives you an insight. And once you learn when it is that you do it, then you can self-correct and stop doing that. You're bringing awareness to it. Number 9, it is okay not to want to be with your mother or other family members that do not respect you and your boundaries, even at this time of the year. So up until now, we spoke about a heap of stuff that you can do when you're meeting with them, if you have to meet with them, if you're going with all of that stuff, which is totally fine. But it's also okay to go, no, I don't want to do any of this year. I'm going on a break away somewhere else, or I'm just not going to follow traditions that feel like obligations. It's okay to decorate how you like and not how everyone else expects you to decorate. It's okay not to decorate at all if you don't feel like. It's okay to have winter holidays in your terms. It is okay to prioritize yourself at this time of the year. It doesn't make you a bad person. You are not being selfish. You are being self-loving, which is very important. It's a foundation, as we said. So all of that is okay. It's okay to be no contact. It's okay to spend Christmas or any other holidays that comes up for you in your traditions, whatever that is. It's okay to spend it on your own terms. It's okay to celebrate it. It's okay not to celebrate it if you don't feel like. If you're coming from a tradition that you don't feel is your own anymore, that's fine too. All of that is okay. And you don't need to justify any of that with anyone. It's your choice. It's your need. Doesn't make you a bad person. It makes you self-loving, honoring of your truth person, which is important. And point number 10, the final one, is communicate your needs with your partner or anyone who is close to you and can be of support, because to try and do all of this on your own, it's really difficult. There's no need to go to war alone. Like, genuinely get all the support that you need. Being vulnerable and reaching out is very important. Also, when it comes down to in-laws, I know this can be very tricky. But by communicating your needs, by communicating what you're feeling from now, you can open a conversation now, rather than get all the way to the last minute when you're gonna be really frustrated, really upset. Things are gonna get inevitably more intense, and then you try and communicate. That's gonna be a recipe for disaster. If you start communicating from now, you have an open conversation. It's way more relaxed. Points can be made a lot easier, and yeah, I can tell you it's gonna be a lot easier to do that now. But again, it's about communicating with someone that can support you. So it doesn't have to be a person in particular, but whoever it is in your life that can support you through this time. That's really important. Don't try and do this alone. please. My invitation to you is really not to try and do this alone, because that makes it 10 times more difficult. I think that's it. I hope this was helpful. I want you to know that I truly feel for you, and I get how challenging all of this is. I haven't shared my own story on this particular episode, but I have plenty of experience in my personal life with my mother. I have plenty of wonderful narcissistic family members, and also I have narcissistic in-laws. So guilting and obligations and so on. I truly get you. It can get pretty intense. I really do get you. So please reach out. Let me know if you have any questions. Let me know if you would like me to deepen any aspects of it. That's okay. I'd love to hear from you. I am here to support. And also go ahead and download the quick guide to create your sacred space now. The link is in the description. Yeah, I think that's it. And also, send me an email if you're interested in the special offer that I spoke to at the beginning about the 10 weeks one-on-one program, because the offer ends on November 27th. So, and it's on first comes, first serve kind of basis. For this, as with each wave, I'm only opening about 4, maximum 5 spaces. The same goes for this offer, because this is going to be the wave for January. So if I reach the number now, then there will be no wave in January. So that's why this is like super amazing, because you can book your space from now. It's secured. When you get to January, after all of this mess of the main part of the holiday season, you hit the ground running, and you have your program in one-on-one 10 weeks, where you get to do a lot of really, really cool work to gain control of your life, to sort all of this mess, to heal the mother wounds, and most of all, to just access that part of you that is truly you, and live from there, which is, like, in my experience, that's the only way to be really happy. I've tried a lot of things, but I haven't found anything else that really actually allows me to be myself and happy in my own shoes than to live from that heart space, my true essence, what's my true self. So that's why I'm sharing this with you. So I'm gonna love you, send you lots of love, and leave you now. So bye for now.